Yeah.
Okay. So Nelson, today we are going to discuss about the last thing in the production, which will actually take us to a good amount of setups. So don't be overwhelmed by what else you have to configure. We'll also give it after configuring all these setups, then I'll be giving you a kind of summary that why we need all those setups, and they are especially from the perspective of route, because routes can be like super simple to extremely complicated depending on the manufacturing process. And after that, then we'll be starting with our finance part, because everything, like as a starter, or even I can say more than a starter, as a consultant, that you need to know about the initial setups and configurations for production in Dynamics. I think that has been already taught. So now we'll be covering the route section. So I wanted a separate session for this route, because there are actually a lot of setups. And in my past experience, I've seen people always get confused in route. Up to bomb, up to production order and stages, they are like super cool. And as soon as the route is there, they're like, I don't know what's happening. But anyway, we'll try to take all these things slowly. Okay. So let me start with the creation of route. So I'll first navigate to the product information management. And do you remember what product we created last time? A bomb?
No,
I think we had sunglasses, I guess, right?
that was for discrete manufacturing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. One more thing. As far as route is concerned, they'll be like same for both of them. Not same, but in Dynamics, because it's called BOM for discrete and formula for process manufacturing. But routes are same, because
Yeah.
see, routes are going to have a list of operations. Yes, obviously operations will be different. For example, if we are speaking about the sunglass manufacturing, so maybe the first operation is fixing those assembling those two glasses onto the that wire frame. So that can be a possible operation. But if you are manufacturing a shampoo, so the first operation may be mixing of those 3 to 4 chemicals. Maybe the second operation may be some sort of heat treatment or adding some sort of preservatives over there. So yeah,
Yeah.
operations will definitely be different, but as far as configuration is concerned, the way you configure will be same. So let me pull out that sunglass. I think it was glasses or sunglasses. Let me see.
No, sunglasses.
Okay, so sunglass, it is here. So we
Yeah.
have a bomb for this already. And now what we are going to do is we are going to configure the route. So same in the engineer section, if you navigate, you can see the bomb and bomb versions, and then you have the routes here. So similarly, like bomb and bomb versions, we are going to have route and route versions. So we'll start by creating, by clicking on the route, and then we can start to add the route and route version. So I'll do that now. So let me click on the route. And so the first thing that we are going to do is click on route and route version, because we want to create one for that. Let me call it sunglass route. Also, let me open the notepad so that in the end you have a list of summary of what exactly you are doing. So first is create route and route version. That is the normal thing to do. Let me hide these. We already have numbering there. Okay, so obviously, as I told you that routes and bombs and formulas, they are always linked to a site, because the machinery is present on a site, and machinery can differ. The same sort of production can have, maybe on site one you have old machines, on site two you have new machines. So obviously there will be a list of changes. Maybe the site one, the machine is producing the goods at a faster rate as compared to the old machines. So always the route, bomb and formula will be tagged to a site. So I'll enter the site. For me, let me say okay for the site one. All right. So just like the bomb, here also, Nelson, we can have the same bifurcation. You can have different versions depending on, like, from different dates. So you can have a version depending on the dates. If I say, okay, so for I know that there is some sort of change in machinery or something else, so I can mark this, okay, that from this date to this date, do use this version. So on that date, if you are going to produce a production order, if you want to create a production or a batch order or a production order, then it will take into account which version to pick from. So either they can be from the date range, or also they can be from the quantity. So from the quantity means that if I write here, if I write quantity 70, sorry, 60. So what is going to happen is, if you are going to create a production order which is less than 60 units, so then another, it will search for another bomb version, but this version will only be picked when your production quantity is 60 or more. So hence, like we have to write the from quantity. So similarly, like the bomb and formula versions, we have the route versions, and the exact and appropriate route versions will be picked up depending on what you want to produce. So for now, I'll leave it from quantity as 0, because I want only this version to be picked up. Once we are done with that, now is the time to add operations. So second thing is operations. So operations, so we can click new, and right now we are, it's saying us that operation number and operation primary. So basically, primary operation is the main operation. So I haven't seen in any of the implementations using secondary operation, but I told you that routes can be extremely complicated. So secondary operation means it's going to execute in parallel with the primary operation. Maybe there are 2 or 3 operations in parallel which are going to execute. So therefore, we need to have the secondary operation also with that. But anyway, we are going to assume that we are going to have simple operations. Like the first operation will be, let me say, bringing all those materials onto the table, so assembly of materials. And let me say second operation will be fixing those glasses in that sun frame, that wire frame. So I'll click on primary. Now it's asking me to specify the operation. So here we already have a list of operations there, but we will be creating a new operation. So we'll click on view details. This will take us to the operations page. Operations are also present in, so this is going to actually take us here in the production control. And we have the routes, and then finally we have the operations here. This is this form. So let me create a new operation. Let me call my first operation with a generic name as OPR1. And let me say bring materials to table or shop floor, whatever it is. It's, let me just click on save, and this will happen. Let me say second operation is um, sun glass assembly. So let me say this. Once we click on save, now we have these 2 operations. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll add my first operation here. So let me say, so first operation is OPR1. All right. So this is the thing. Now we have to specify the runtime and process quantity. Specify runtime and process quantity. So this is actually saying what amount of time will this operation take to process this amount of the finished good. If I write 8 and 20 here, so basically this is saying that to produce 20 amount of finished good, 20 units of finished good, this operation is going to happen and it will take 8 hours. So are you getting a feel of what this is? This is very much like the
Yes.
bomb and formula
Yeah,
quantity.
I use the same when I define the routes
Right.
in
Exactly.
the others.
So let me say for now, because I want to see the production postings, let me give it random. Let me say 5 hours it will take, and a process quantity of one. Although this is not usually the case. Usually we have some good amount of quantities.
Yeah, usually that is not the numbers.
Yes.
The number is a hundred of thousand
Yeah,
or ten
hundreds of
thousand.
thousands in 5 hours. Well, I just wanted to
Yeah.
show you like the route card is posted and we have the quantities there. Yeah, usually it is in hundreds and thousands. You are right. So the next means if the value of next is zero, it means this is the final operation. So if you just have only one operation, the next will be zero. Or else, since I'm going to have another operation, I'll put next as 20 because I want another operation here. And now the new setting is the route group. So these are things that actually you have to set up once. It's not like every time you're creating an operation and you have to create a new route group. But these are some important things. So if I navigate to the route groups, and route groups are also present here, this is very important setup. Actually, all of these settings are pretty much important. So we have the route groups here. So basically, what route group is going to do? Route group is saying that during the estimation and costing, do you want the setup? First, we'll talk about these. So, Nelson, every operation can be further broken down into sub operations called jobs. For example, I had that OPR1, operation one, but it can have again further bifurcation. Like this can be divided into mini operations, or that mini operations we call them jobs in Dynamics 365. Basically, in on shop floor also it's called jobs only. So every operation can have a queue before time. So queue before is a kind of mini operation. It can have a setup time. So setup is also a type of mini operation. And this is the main thing that operation is doing when the operation is actually executing the processing of that operation. So this is the process time, overlap time, transport time, queue after time. So you can configure every operation to be further subdivided into these operations. So usually it's only the process, and like unless if you are, for example, a setup, this can be useful for, let us say, if you are in a painting industry. So first you will be preparing that floor. Maybe it will take, for example, until now you were painting red, and now you have to paint the next 500 containers with color blue. So basically what you are doing is maybe you're taking like 15 minutes or 20 minutes to just prepare that floor and bring all those that blue color cans. Then you will start painting, or the machine will start painting. So that prior operation that we just did, so that could have been a very good idea of adding a setup. Okay, so that setup time will also be considered, and process time is the exact time where the process is executing. So usually these are the two things that we try to activate, and for 99% of scenarios I've only seen only the process. This is like working, because you do not want to, this depends totally on you whether do you want to really work on that level. Usually companies don't do it unless it's like some very sophisticated and very complex process. So they might be making use of, if they want like even a single minute or single second to be tracked. So then like this might be the case where you want to divide your operation into these many sub operations. But usually this is only the process tab that gets activated. Sometimes I've seen people using setup and process as well. Okay, so did you get an idea, Nelson, what I'm trying to say right now?
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
curious about the automatic route consumption.
Yes, yes, yeah. Automatic route consumption is also a thing. So for okay, let's cover these thing. Then there's something called so these are for the activation. Okay, only if you are activating these two, then only these two times will be considered. When I'm saying times will be considered
Hmm.
means these will be having related cost categories, so the cost will be picked up. If I select only the process, even if I specify the cost for setup, it is not going to pick up the cost from setup category, because now the system knows only the process cost is going to be posted. Let me select for this scenario both of these. And job management means you want the jobs to be created or not. So two things are created: operations are created and jobs are created. So Operation creation means operation creation is like a simple thing. The operation will be created, but not exact time will not be defined. Like on this day, from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., the job of this job one should execute. So system will not reschedule everything according to those details. If you haven't enabled job management, if you enable the job management means okay, yeah, now these things will be working in job management as well. Working time, working time means if your factory is closed on Saturday and Sunday, so do not consider the Saturday and Sunday time. Only consider the calendar time. Okay, so these are the things. Capacity means the resource capacity. Consider the capacity also. It is not going to have infinite capacity. So only the allotted hours it will work. Automatic route consumption means this is very much like the flushing principle in bomb. So you had three situations there during the start and report has finished. Like always, I mean, consider the post the raw materials now. Never, do not post the raw materials now. And flushing principle. So flushing principle decided whether to consume now or after. So automatic route consumption means there also you will be provided with three choices. Always means consume the right route now, consume the operations now. Never, do not consume the operation. And automatic route consumption. So if the automatic route consumption, these things are enabled, it means the route card will be posted along with the operations. If they are not enabled, it will not be posted. So it's that simple. Okay.
Mhm.
Estimation and costing. Estimation and costing means that during the estimation, you do remember we click on estimate. So that is going to
Yeah.
estimate the cost, but it is going to estimate the cost now based on both of the things. So if you have raw materials, definitely it is going to pick up the cost from raw materials. And also, if there are operations associated with those raw materials, I mean, if the item is having that route and operations, then obviously, please tell us, please take the costing from the operations also. So this is going to tell us. So what costing you want? Setup time, yes, we want to consider the setup time. You want to consider the runtime, yes. Do you want to consider the quantity? Usually, always. So this is an important thing to note, Nelson. Either enable setup time, runtime, and disable this quantity, or enable the quantity and disable all of these. There's a reason for that. If you enable all these three, so it is going to like almost double the cost. See, either you can specify that this is the setup time and this is the runtime for this amount, so you will get your like correct cost, the operation cost. But quantity works like a piecewise. So it will take, okay, one quantity is taking this amount of hours, so this much cost, and therefore seven quantities you are trying to produce, so according to that multiply it with seven. So it's like it will post the double cost. So a good idea is to either mark setup time and runtime and disable the quantity, or just enable the quantity. Quantity works like a piecewise thing. Okay.
Okay.
So with this, we can always tweak the feedback, so no need to do this. So with this we have our things set up. So now we know that setup and process are going to be considered. So I'll click on this one, and just let me navigate back to the page. So yes, route group was very much important, so we need to have a route group. I'll click on discrete manufacturing. Once this is done, now we will navigate to the general. So general, we can see that operation 10, primary OPR, next is 20, okay, totally fine. Setup tab. Now we have to define the cost categories. So you do see we have so many forms here. So yeah, this is the reason usually you would need to revisit this session like 2 or 3 times to get a full idea. So now, Nelson, it's asking us, okay, you've specified. Now tell me where to pick up the costs from. So setup category, runtime category, quantity category. So since we know that either will specify the quantity or we'll specify these two only. So cost categories are present here. But before cost categories, we have something called shared categories. So you first have to create a shared category. Let me create one. Let me say setup, and that to glass. Setup sunglass. So I'll click on this. I just don't know what did I copy paste. Hold on. Copy and paste. And now I want to say that it can be used in production. I'll click on click on can be used in production. And now I want another. So I'll basically create the categories. If I want, whenever I want a new price, I'll create a category. And now I'll say sunglass assembly, sunglass assembly, SMBL. So this I'll do. So I'm basically creating two categories because I want two prices, because my setup price is going to be different and this is going to be different, can be used in production. So once you create the shared categories, so basically you are going to create these shared categories first. You can say costing. So the first thing is shared category. You have to create shared category. Then you have to create the cost category. Once you do that, and now if you navigate to the cost categories, then you will be able to see both of these shared categories. So I'll now click on, because here you are going to define the cost. So we can see that a good amount of categories are there. So set up sunglass. Okay. Now I'll click on save. So here, if you look at the right now, the cost price is 0 and it's grayed out. So I'll be giving the price. Let me say, let me select any version, costing version, current fiscal for the site one. And let me say a price of $3. Click on save and then we'll click on activate. Price for cost category was effective. It's saying record has been updated. It's totally fine. Okay. And why it is showing blocked? I have no reason, no idea. Hold on. Let me see block activation, recording, block activation, cost price allow, cost price, sales price. These are actually the pricing and costing details. I think it looks fine here. Block activation, no, showing blocked here. Let us see if it is going to pick up the price or not, or else we'll specify some other price. I think it's totally fine here. So once we do that, so now the thing is we can attack the cost group also. So cost groups are another important piece of setups. First, let me say the ledger postings will be specified. So estimated account manufacturing costs. So this is on the physical update. Physical update means a report as finished. Financial update means when the GL accounts will get updated. So let me put any random ledger account. So basically these are the accounts where some sort of posting is going to happen. So yes, obviously you need to define those. So basically when you move into the details, the financial and accounting details of production postings, so this is where this thing is going to come. So let me mm, let me put any random account. I just want to show you the costs there. So I'll put this one, click on save. And as you can see that you have to specify cost group also. So cost groups are another piece of setup. This will, so yeah, cost categories, and you also need to have a look at cost groups. What cost groups will do also, this you should know. So view details. So basically, cost groups are of various types. Let me say, select this cost group. So it's the direct manufacturing. So you can have various types of cost groups. These are important and almost in every ERP system. So you are basically attaching a type of cost group to the category where you have defined the price. And this category will be tagged on to that particular operation. whether it is in the setup or anything else. So you have direct materials, direct manufacturing, indirect and direct outsourcing. So basically, these are the cost group types defined, and also you can have the profit setting. So right now the profit setting. So if you remember that along with the production estimated production price, the system also calculates the estimated sales price. So if you specify the if you select this profit, if you specify the profit percent of 20% here, so now it will do what that just like as the Bauman formula, it was taking some sort of that percentage and giving you the sales price. So even so it will do for the operations. If my operation is now $3, it will add 20% to that, and it will add it to the sales tab, because in the end all the operations and all the materials their price has to be multiplied along with something to get a net sales price. And that too if you want your profit setting. So obviously cost groups are helpful for those. So L2 seems to be a good thing because it's of type direct manufacturing. We've specified a profit percentages of uh, 20. Let me make it default. So it will say cost L1 is already default. Let me uh, okay, I think we can select L1. This is very much same. Either we have to disable this and we can what this is already by default. So what we'll do is it has a standard setting of 10%, totally fine. So we will now tag the L1 here. So let me tag the L1 direct manufacturing. I think our setup thing is done, and it's also showing us the cost price of 3. Now let me create on the second one. So sunglass assembly. Right now, basically, we are creating the costs. We are defining the cost. So yes, now I want this also to have a price. Let me say my price is, and this is per hour price. Let me say my price. Let me try to create a new costing version and see if it is still showing the same thing. Okay, standard cost. Let me call it a planned cost costing version of N21 N21 block activation. No block activation. No. Okay. General planned cost recording. Record all types of. Okay, record all types calculations. Totally fine. Purchase production. Yeah, looks good. So basically, I'll select my N21, and now I'll specify the name of site, and let me specify $5 per hour for this one. I'll click on save, and let me try to activate that. So it's just still in pending instead. I'll click on activate. Okay, so this sort of tick comes by automatically, not an issue. So anyway, we have the price of $5 now here. Same I'll do with this one. I'll put a cost group. I'll put that same random GL account. Although when you are doing an implementation, you have to put the correct account that is intended. I'll click on save. So with this, Nelson, we know what a shared category is, what a cost category is. This has to be created, whether it will tell us whether you are going to use it in project or production or what modules. So create a shared category, then tag that shared category into your newly created cost category. This is going to give you the price of that particular operation wherever you're going to tag it. And cost groups, yeah, they are up again an important part, which are going to define the profit percentages and the type of the group, whether it is direct material, direct manufacturing as such. So these are the setups you have to do just to make sure you have the proper costs. So once we are done with that, so now if you navigate to the setup section, so we basically created two categories because the pricing was different. So I'll say sunglass setup. So this is my category, and runtime is my like sunglass runtime. So sunglass assembly. So this is my thing. So basically now it will take the values, the prices from these two here. So are these settings clear to you, Nelson? I know they are like a lot of setups, but yeah, we have to do all of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they're needed, but yes, I need to
Yes.
explore what
Yep,
happened
yep.
if I change something, that kind of things.
Exactly. So if the price is changing, then you have to just click on that price tab again, specify the new price, activate it. So new price will be activated from that day. So actually, yeah, these things are actually I learned about all of these things after 2 years. So it's like you are learning it, and I had to go through like lot and a lot of blogs, and not even every blog was not able to just tell me everything. So even I had to dig in for like I'll say more than a good amount of like months. So yeah, it comes with experience, but now since I'm working and implementing these systems on a day-to-day basis, so I really know that okay, you will get this error if you do not specify this, if you will get this error if you will not specify this. For example, if you do not specify the quantity category and you enable quantity in the route consumption, the system will throw an error that specify the quantity category, and then you'll wonder that I haven't like ticked the activation for quantity, and why it's happening as such. So yeah, so these things will come like slowly and steadily when you'll be like dealing with these on a day to day basis. Okay, so not an issue. I already told you that don't be overwhelmed with this. It has a lot of settings, and there's a reason for every of those. So therefore these are mandatory. Now the times. So so these are the times. It already picked up from here, so not an issue. So once you do that, and now we will come back to the resource load. So resource load, okay, for now let's skip this. First let us talk about resource requirements. So everything is set up, Nelson, but we still have a question pending. Who is going to perform all of this? Like where the production posting should happen? Is it a machine, or is it a human being, or who else is there? So for that we need to create a resource. Also, if you click on new, you'll see what type of requirement you want. So requirement can also be a lot of things. A resource or a resource group is the most common thing whenever we are using it. But capability, skill, courses, certificate, and title is something else. For example, if you have a good amount of human resources, so if some of those human resources have some of the certifications, and here you need someone who has a certain certificate, then the system will pick up only that particular resource. Similarly, that particular skill, that particular capability. But for now, let's skip all of these and we just focus on resource and resource group. And as the name suggests, resource can be a machine or a human worker, and resource group is nothing but a combination of those resources. If you
Mhm.
select resource, only that particular resource is going to be picked up by the system to perform these tasks, these operations. But if you click on resource group, the system will allot any of the resources available on that particular day. Usually it's the first resource, so not an issue with that. So we'll click on resource and we'll have to specify the list of resources. Here we have to specify just one resource. So this is another setup that you need to do. So one more thing to note is, okay, resource group. The thing is, all of these setups are done only once, Nelson. It's not like every time you are creating a new operation, you have to configure all of these. No. Route group, this is usually like you have only one route group for the whole company. Costing and all these categories are already there. You have list of predefined operations what for whatever production you are doing. So every time you are not going to add a new operation. Basically you are just going to tag that operation and all of these settings will come by itself. And hence is the reason right now I'm just telling you each and everything separately here. But if you navigate to the operation itself, you will see something called, I didn't explain you this before because I wanted you to know that. If you click on operation, if you click on relations, so basically this will comprise of all of these things. You can see it's having the time, it's having the route group, each and everything. You can basically define the resource and everything, the times, the resource, everything on the operation itself. So in real life, in what you do is you just click on the operation, and as soon as you do that, all of these settings are filled automatically. If all of these settings are defined on the operation, right now I'm manually filling it because I wanted to show you all these steps. Okay,
Yeah, I
so yeah,
understand.
Yeah, so this is one thing. You don't have to do all of this, every time. So resource. So first, now let's have a look at the how to make resources and resource groups. So it's like I will navigate to the organization administration. Okay, and here we have resource and resource groups. We'll click on resource group. This will comprise of the resource. So you have a lot of things here. So let me try to add a new resource group. Let me say sunglass is the name of resource group, and let me make it for site one. Don't want to specify. So these are some of the advanced settings in the advanced warehouse management, which are using the shop floor control. Neglect all of these. Just for now, I just want to tell you how the things will work. So setup category, cost categories, and these are defined here on the resource group. So you can define it on the resource group, you can define it on the resource itself. So not only this, you just have to, so if you will just add one resource, the system will also give you the prompt. Do you want to transfer all the runtime, setup times, and all the categories? So I'll click no there because I've already defined it. But you define all of these things on the resource, you don't have to specify any of these things here. Just add resource, add operation, add resource, and there you go, all the settings are placed itself. So for now, I just don't want to define any of these things here. I'll make sure it is having a finite capacity, which means if the resource is having 8 hours, it can do work according to the production calendar. Only 8 hours you can make use of it. So now you can add the calendar. So as I told you, we said that calendars will make use of. So this is the place where we are
That
making.
calendar is the same calendar that we created before, right?
Yep. So we have list of all these
Yeah, you
calendars.
created one of 5 hours. Yeah,
Yeah, we had this one of 5 hours
yeah,
calendar, so we
yeah,
can
correct.
use this. We can use the 24-hour calendar, but as you can see in the 5 hour calendars, so so we have working times 5 hours. So every time we have this. So yeah, also it's closed on Saturday and Sundays. So yeah, so it here like once you create the calendar, so now it's making a sense that of what calendar you want to tag. So let me say if I have my 24-hour calendar, I know that my machines are running 24 hours, almost 24 hours. So this is the place where you will tag the calendar. So let me tag any random calendar here. Let me tag the 24-hour calendar. I'll click on save. So now these settings are defined in the resource group, and every resource group is going to have some sort of resources. We'll add the resources later, or if we directly create a resource and tag that resource group, it will be automatically added here. Ledger postings we can be defined on the resource groups as well as they can be defined on the resource itself. Let me try to define any random account here. I think we can define it on the resource itself. I can see that cabinet polishing. So see, they are having this is like the human resources. So they are having all of these human resources also here. So for now, I think okay. So sunglass, we can tag the setup category. We already know our setup category, setup sunglass, and we also know our runtime category, sunglass assembly. I think yeah, this is good. We'll click on save. So also even on the resource, almost all the scenarios on the resource will be taken care of. All of these things are there. So as I told you, manufacturing is in extreme detail in Dynamics 365. Basically, you can take care of every scenario on the resource, on the cost, on everything. All you have to need is yeah, debug a little bit more. So for now, I mean, these are the only setups which the companies usually do. So once I do that, now I'm going to click on the resource. I've created a resource group. Now I want to create a resource. I'll click on resources. Let me create a single machine which we'll use. So I can create a new. So resource, let me say machine one. Tag the same in description. Type is machine. If you specify the type as human resources, it will ask you to tag worker. Okay, then which worker? And then worker has to be created in HRMS module first. You will be clicking so these. So you will be clicking the workers there. So now the worker will be allotted. But I want machine. So yeah, machine it is. route group, you can define, as I told you, that you can define all of these settings on the, you could see that. So if you just created our operation there, and just create and then added this resource, so system will ask you, should I transfer all the information? So you can see all the information that we entered is present here on the resource itself. So it depends totally on you. So if you want to add all these details here, feel free to do so. And next time you don't have to add on the every new route and all. So I've already defined it on the route version. Well, anyway, we can define it here also. Set up sunglass. Let me specify the mm, sunglass assembly. We don't need to specify all of these. I'm not defining the times right now here, because if I define the times here, then it will overlap with those times and it will replace those times. So for now, I think this is okay. We've already defined. So we have a choice. We can define it there or we can define it here. Let me define it here also, so that you can know we can define it everywhere. And the capabilities, right now I don't want to add any kind of capabilities to this resource. As you do remember that you can select the capabilities also. So if you are having 10 resources and only 2 of them are having a particular capability, then only that particular resource will be picked up by the system. So yeah, a lot of details are there. Resource group, I want to add this to a resource group called sunglass. So sunglass it is. Okay, and let me give some random ledger accounts. uh, so that the postings can happen. So once we do that, we can now click on save. So we have machine. So now we can click on resource and we can have a look at the list of resources. I'll say add the resource Mac1. And as soon as you do this, see it's prompting you. Do you want to transfer the costing and transfer default time and costing value to the operation? If I click yes here, then all those information that we entered will be replaced with this information. So we haven't entered any of this information here, so I'll click no for now. So our setup times and all of these things are intact. Okay, that looks good. Okay, once we do that, so yeah, now it's saying, oh, what type of scheduling you want, operation scheduling or job scheduling? Well, we want both of them. We want operations to be created, and finally we want the jobs also to be created. So job execution is like a totally different part which will consume up to like few sessions. So I will just like you to, whenever if you want to see how the shop floor control works, then you need to like dig a little bit lot. So we are not covering the job scheduling, the mechanism of job scheduling, although we know that jobs are going to be created, but this is an extremely advanced topic, so for now we are going to skip that. So this is how I think this is the all the setups that we needed just to make sure that our operation is added. Click on new and let me add a secondary operation of 20. This is the sunglass assembly. Let me say it is having 7 hours for one quantity. Okay, and so also next is 0, route group is discrete. Just for the sake of demo, I'll click on setup. I think, yeah, everything looks good here. Setup category, setup sunglass. So basically you can have any amount of categories depending. Whenever you want a new price, just think that, okay, I think we are going to create a category for this. Sunglass assembly, times already specified, resource. Let me specify the same resource here. Otherwise you could have different machine for performing this operation, but let me specify. No, I don't want to transfer. I want operation scheduling and job, both of them here. So once we are done with that, so this is all that you needed to do. I know these were like quite a good amount of setups, but like this is how we are going to create a route in the real implementation. So Nelson, any kind of doubt till here?
A lot, but but,
Yeah, I get it.
yeah,
We'll approve the versions here. As I told you that you would have to revisit this session if you want to learn
yeah, I will need.
Yes, yeah, like a few times, because I told you that all of these settings became clear to me at least after like one implementation after a period of 1 year. Yeah, it's not that much easy, but I just wanted to touch on this topic because no one explains it in that amount of detail, and people are always confused. I don't want to whatever I'm teaching these, they should get confused. This is a very important topic. We have to know it, and this is very much like really what's happening on the shop floor. You have all of these things. These are all the scenarios that are being considered on the shop floor. Yes, it's important to know about these. So we've approved the route version, and we'll click here. And now hold on, let me see. Approved, but I think is it activated? Yeah, activation is required. Yeah, it's activated and approved. That is it. So now let me create a production order, and let us see how it's working. Maybe
Yep.
we'll be facing with some more errors. There are a lot of things could go wrong. Let us see. So we'll create a production order, new production order, and the item sunglass. Okay, in site one. Do you want to insert the bill of materials and route? Yes, please do that. And we can see BOM and route both are updated. Let me select warehouse 11. I want my finished goods to be. Then let me select a quantity of 15. I want. Once I do that, I want a delivery by tomorrow, and click on create. So we'll do that. So now I'll click on estimate, and let us see if our costs are getting estimated. So do you see that setting the profit setting as standard? So now it's actually going to have a look at the cost groups associated. So there in the cost groups, we define the profit settings, and cost groups are attached to all of these things. So in this way, it's going to calculate. I'll click on OK, and let me see if I'm getting my costs correct or not. View calculation details, and you can see now. For now, neglect these two because these two are the indirect costs that are being added because of the costing sheet. But can you see that we have our machine, that resource that we created? So it's having 5 hours and 7 hours, as we told them, 5 hours and 7 hours for one, and 5 hours. I think this is the total cost price, and this is adding the profit percentage of 20%. Or I think it was 10%. Yeah, it's 10%. Some 10% or 20%. I think it's 20%. So this is how the cost estimation is going to happen. Nelson, are you getting an idea? Why do we needed that cost
Yeah.
group?
Yeah.
So this is the reason, and
Right.
this is the R, and this is for one unit. And if you look at the overview costing, it will give you for the 15 units. So it's giving you the estimated cost, exact cost price. So this will be your production cost. So similarly, when you finish everything, production order ended, it will give you the realized costs also. I'll do that. Okay, so production order, and now let me try to release it. I'll release this one. So I'll try to, and now what I'm going to do is I want everything to get consumed. So yeah, so within, if I click on start, and if I do this, I want my picking list. Okay, please post the picking list material now, and mark this. Now I have this thing. So route group dependent is works like that same thing. Automatic consumption. So right now I want consume the raw materials now and post it. Also mark the end route. So this will do what is that it will make sure that both the operations are completed, finished, and the postings will be done. So this is like on the top level whenever you are doing this, if you are not really like manually going to every machine and doing all sort of these things. But if your production is in a very detailed fashion, like the user is manually going to the shop floor, logging into the system, and then taking each and every operation, starting that operation, maybe after a few hours it will finish that operation. So that also we can do. So this will post the operations and their prices now. Or else, if you want to do uh, the production control, if you want to manually finish all the operations, so you will have a list of current operations. So right now my production order is uh, this one. Let me copy this, and let me try to click. So can you see that my production already created two operations. So this is the reason that we, if you want every operation, so you can basically individually process every operation and report it as finished. So feel free to do that, but this is like where you are doing production in way too much detailed fashion. You are navigating to every operation, and then after start this and then report has finished this, then we will select this separate operation to do. So you can do these things also. Also, you will have jobs. With jobs, you will have to go to advanced manufacturing execution. So this is still like a second level of detail. So here it will do what, that it will like quickly within a fraction of seconds it will post. You don't have to navigate to each and every operation again and again and report it as finished. Okay, so this is going to do all sort of these things within the fraction of seconds. For example, this scenario holds good, that you know that after 2 hours your production will complete. So yeah, it's good that after 2 hours you just click on start and just click finish this. So basically everything is taken care of. But no, if your production is as such, no, user have to go, user have to start individual operation reporters, then you have to do this. And a third level of details are the current jobs. That is even more detail, and we take that thing using something called manufacturing execution cycle. A lot of setups are actually have to be done first to make sure this is happening. So right now, but if I give you a brief overlook of, because this is something that you will explore. First, you just need to create bomb routes and all of these things. So this is beyond the scope of this training, but still. So if I navigate to the production order, so even jobs are created. So these jobs are more detailed than individual operations. So basically, this is the type of thing where the worker is going, it's logging into the system. So for that, you will have to first configure the manufacturing execution cycle. We call it MES in the production industry as well as in the Dynamics 365. So then a user will have its ID, user will log into the ID, and as soon as the user will log, user will be provided with these two jobs. Then user will click like it's a proper touch based screen. User will click on a particular and will start the job, and then it will report the production quantity as finished. So that is the last level of detail you want to do that. So it is having job type, job status, everything, personnel number, and a lot of things are here. So don't want to go in these details right now. Okay, but did you get an idea of what are the various ways of performing operations and jobs?
Mhm.
Okay, but for now, but this is like the 99%, this is what we are using, because we already know that it's like a day-to-day material is being created. So we know, yeah, after 2 hours, my operations will be finished. I really don't need to go to every operation, mark it as finished and start. And although I think even my workers are not there, consider a typical manufacturing industry who is manufacturing sweets. So you know, anyway, after 2 hours, my sweets will be manufactured, and so yeah, so you are just taking into account the pricing. That for 2 hours, this is the price that should be tagged onto the finished good. I don't want to go to every step and prepare that sweet and then add sugar and do all of those things. You can just create operations and report them as finished. So this will give you a, so right now, consume the operations, consume the material. Okay, let's do what's going to happen. Hopefully it will not throw us any error and we do not have any errors. So packing list is posted, route card is posted. So packing list, you already know, it's the consumption of raw materials. Let's have a look at the route card. Oh, this is the job card. This will get created when you will be using extreme levels of details. So every user is having job. So route card, let's have what's posted in the route card. So if you look, we have 4 lines posted, and here you will get the whole story. Are you able to see what exactly happened, Nelson?
Yes.
Two operation, and every operation we knew that we were
Yeah.
subdividing them into
We
two
have
jobs,
these
setup and
two.
process. So this is the reason. So
Mhm.
once you are done with that, so all of these things will be posted here. So now we can just click the report as finish and just click on it. So you don't have to do anything new as such here. So this is the thing. So if you don't want to post the operations at start, you have the same thing to do on end. But since we have posted everything on start, we've posted the picking list, so we don't want to pick the post the picking list now. And also we've consumed these operations, so right now we want them to be never, never, and that is all. We will finish on okay, and our finished good will be available in the inventory now. And finally, we can click on end to end the production order. And this wraps up our production module. So I know this lecture was a lot of setups and a lot of things, but I think you did get an idea of what I was trying to tell you, right?
Mhm.
Okay, Nelson. So we'll take a quick 10 minutes break, and then start with our financials, and we'll talk about some of the basics. And I'm pretty much sure you are already familiar with all of those. But anyway, we'll see how to configure those in Dynamics 365. Okay. So I'll see you after 10 minutes. All right.
Okay.